Hi guys, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to complete the sewing of the breast tube I showed you the last time. I'm going to cut the down part. I'm going to continue like I said, the bottom 6 pieces flared. I will fold into 2. After folding into 2, I will remove 16 inches, which is the half length. I remove 16 inches. From here, from where 16 inches is, which is the waist or under bust, I measure from here 16 inches down. Full length is 60 inches. This is 60 inches, which is here. Then I add 1 inch to sew. This is the waist. I will measure 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. I will measure 16 inches. Remember, half length is 16 inches, which is here. I will measure to 37 inches, which is before knee. I continue with my 5.5 inches like this. This is 11.5 inches. Then I will mark from here. You can use a ruler. I will mark this way to join the 5.5 inches I measure from here, from the up, like a bucket shape. This 5.5 inches I will cut from here this way. You can see the way it is. This is the shape I have. I will cut the back. I fold into 2. After folding into 2, I will mark allowance for zip. I mark 2 inches on the back for zip. I place this one, which I just cut, on top where I mark. This is how it looks like. And the down, you can see it's wide on the bottom, then it comes straight on the upper area. I measure here on the front and on the back, which is 11 inches. When I fold into 2, it was 5.5 inches. I notch the center. I fold into 2. I will measure 5.5 inches from here. 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. I will measure from half length 16 inches to before nail 37 inches, and I will measure 5.5 inches. 16 inches, then the length is 60 inches plus 1 inch to sew. 1.5 inch like this, which I will use to sew. I'm not going to cut from this 1.5 inch. This is the only place I will remove this 5.5 inches. The reason why I remove this 5.5 inches, so I can get 5.5 inches here. When I mark down, I have 5.5 inches. That means I'm not going to cut this 5.5 inches straight down. I'm going to cut it up to this place, which is the nail. Then I will curve this way. I remove half inch from the waist. I'm going to remove half inch from the hip. 1/2 inch from the waist and hip all the way down to the nail part. I remove 1/2 inch. Remember, I'm not going to cut this 1/2 inch. I'm not going to cut here. I will only cut this place. This 1/2 inch I remove is the 1/2 inch that I'm going to sew with here. I will place my tape on this line because I've already removed one to sew, the allowance to sew on this place. Waist is 38 inches, divided by 4 is 9.5 inches. I'm going to sew this one here. Then minus 4 inches from this one, I will have 4.5 inches remaining, which I will measure from here 4.5 inches. It will remain 4.5 inches plus allowance to sew on the side. I have allowance to sew, which is the 1.5 I remove. I have allowance for the front already. So on the side, I will add 1 inch to sew, which will give me 5.5 inches. Hip is 50 inches, divided by 4 is 12.5 inches. After removing 4 inches from 12.5 inches, it will remain 8.5 inches, which is here. This is the place where I mark the one I'm going to sew with the front. This 8.5 inches plus 1 inch to sew. I will have 9.5 inches. Like this, then I will mark. Knee is 44 inches, divided by 4 is 11 inches. Remember, I'm still going to remove 4 inches from the 11 inches. So after removing 4 inches from 11 inches, it will remain 7 inches. 7 inches is here. Then I will add 1 inch to sew. This nail, I will mark. This is the hip, the waist, the nail. I will measure 1.5 inch from the bottom. This is how I will cut. This way I mark. I will cut here like this. I'm going to cut from here this way. This is for the two sides. This is the side and this is the front. I'm going to cut for the back. After folding into 2, I'm going to cut back, and I will cut exactly the way I cut the front. I'm going to start to sew after cutting the lining. This is the one to make pleats on the waist. This folded into 4, and I have 27 inches after folding into 4. This 27 inches. This for the back and the front. This is the back for zip. I will leave here open up to here like 6-7 inches. Then I will sew from here down. I'm done sewing the back. This way I will sew zip on. I leave 7 inches. Then I sew all the way down. So this is how it looks like. and I sew the front. You can see I sew with 1.5 inch and 1.5 inch. Do the same on this side. I sew straight, then getting here, I actually sew the way I cut. You can see the way it's wide on the bottom, and this is the hip and the waist. I will do the same for the back. I will place together like this. I will measure 1.5 inch and sew straight. This is the knee, then I will sew this way. I'm done joining the back. So 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch. I will sew the two sides. This is the side. I'll place like this. I will join like this. I will measure 9.5 inches here, and so I will measure from center here 9.5 inches, and so all the way down. I'm done sewing, and I cut lining. I'm going to sew. I didn't cut the lining the way I cut the main material. I'm only going to sew on top and add pleat on the waist, just like this. I will hem the bottom. I cut the lining for the one to sew pleat. I will sew pleat on top before I sew the down on it. I will pleat this zip allowance, either casey pleat or just pleat all the way to this place. Then after sewing pleat or casey pleat on the waist, if you like, you can make gather. I will place this one. This is where I will sew zip on. This one on top, and sew. The one I pleat is in between the down part and the upper part. This is it. After sewing the top, it will look like this before I sew the down parts. I raise this one up, then I will sew this for zip. I will sew from back under here. I will sew it under this place. I will raise this one and sew under this place. Then after sewing, it will come like this. After sewing, I will sew the lining to cover this rough edge. I will show you when I'm going to sew the lining to cover the rough edge. Then I will cut the sleeve and sew the sleeve and hem the neckline. I'm done sewing. I will leave some inches here, like 8 inches, before I sew down. Then after doing that, I will sew to cover up this rough edge. Then I will cut the sleeve. I'm done sewing the lining. You can see the center, the way it's neat. I fold into 4. This is the sleeve, and I'm going to sew this on top. Sleeve is 12 inches. This is 12 inches, and I will add 1.5 inch to hem. Round sleeve is 15 inches, divided by 2 is 7.5 inches. Then I will add 1 inch to sew. I'll cut here. After sewing, I will bring this way. After hemming the bottom, then I will measure 15 inches divided by 2, 7.5 inches. Then I will sew here, I will do the same here before I sew on the armhole. I'm done sewing the sleeve. This is the armhole. This place I'll place inside like this. This is the armpit area like this, and I will sew round. I will sew this way, and I will do the same on this side. I'm done sewing these two sleeves, and I will sew zip. Before I sew zip, I will hem. This is how I will hem the neckline. Very neat. This is the back for zip. I will hem this way, very tiny, round the neck to this side of zip. I will hem. Then after doing that, before I sew zip on the back, and I've already hemmed the bottom. When I'm done sewing the neckline and the zip on the back, I will show you the finishing. This is the final sewing, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new, you are welcome. Please subscribe and remember the notification bell. As always, share this video to everyone. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.